He kept the stuff out of the trial. So what do we know about the evidence? Well, Mumia's case rests on 3 pillars: the ballistics, the eyewitnesses, and the confession. Well, we can just throw the confession out because that's foolishness, all right? 2 police officers who allegedly heard the confession don't remember it for 2 months, and one of those policemen wrote a report the day of the incident 3 hours after it happened saying Mumia made no statements at all. And then when they asked him, how is it that you wrote that Mumia said nothing and now you're saying that he confessed? And you know what the dude said? He said, I didn't realize that it had any importance until today. I mean, this stuff would be laughable if a man's life wasn't involved in it. Confessions are important to two types of professions: priests and police. Now, is it logical that a police officer would hear a confession and not remember it? No, absolutely not. So we throw the confession out. Now here we have the eyewitnesses. We have 2 eyewitnesses primarily, a cab driver and a prostitute. Other witnesses around, nobody saw the prostitute. Nobody saw her. And when you look at crime scene photos, the cab that was supposedly driven right up behind the police officer's car, that would have been blocking 13th Street, that was driven by a guy who was on probation for firebombing a school, and he was drunk and he didn't have a driver's license. Now, would he drive in behind a police car with the lights flashing to fill out his report? No, he wouldn't. So let's throw the eyewitnesses out, because each one of their statements, from the time they gave it, we don't know what happened. By the time they get to trial, Mumia did it. So now we have the ballistics. The police testified that they couldn't match the bullets to any gun. That was their testimony. The medical examiner said that they couldn't figure out anything. That was their testimony. But when you look at crime scene photos, particularly the photos where they said that the officer fell down and died, they say that Mumia stood over this dude, shot him 3 or 4 times, missed 3 times, and hit him once between the eyes. Now, if you're shooting into a sidewalk, even if you're shooting with a .22, much less a .38 that they claim that he had, and a .38 that has more gunpowder in it, they call it .38 plus P, there's going to be holes in the sidewalk, right? You don't have to go be a ballistician, that's somebody who knows about bullets. You don't have to be CSI or XYZ or anything else. You can look at the ground and see if there's holes there. There are no holes. None. We took one of those crime scene photos and sent it to a dude out west. He works for the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. This is like a super duper scientific jaunt for the US government. And what this guy's job is to take satellite photos from outer space and enhance them so they could see the stars and the black holes and all that foolishness out there, right? He enhanced these photos 4,000%, and there is no bullet holes on the ground. So there is no evidence against Mumia. The law has been perverted to keep him in jail, and the case is political. For the US Supreme Court to say that there is absolutely no evidence of any improprieties in the Mumia case is nonsense. I started out by saying that there were 214 cases where the death sentence in Pennsylvania have been overturned. Now, you might need to be a mathematician for this, but to say that 200 people have had their death sentences vacated for ineffective assistance of counsel, for prosecutorial misconduct, for judicial bias, for this, for that, and the other, and none of those legal points apply to Mumia, that would be called a statistical improbability. It just can't happen. But they're telling you that it is. So when you hear this junk, tell them what it is after you get out of the church here. Thank you very much.